Enable others to act is one of the 5 leadership styles mentioned in the Leadership Challenge. This leadership style focuses on giving away power to individuals and creating a cooperative working environment. Enabling others to act is to give them an opportunity to show and feel competent in what they're doing. When we can give away the power to someone else and have him or her complete the task, we are showing him or her that they can be trusted. We are showing them that they are needed and they have purpose and something to add to the group. One person cannot be an expert on all topics, subjects, and areas of interest. This calls for more people to be involved. People naturally are really good at one task and sometimes even more. When we as leaders are able to find out what our teammates' specialties are, we can dish out the responsibilities to those who excel in those areas. When I think of a person who can delegate tasks and give power to those who are more specialized, I tend to think of people who are in charge of a lot at one time. Banning Liebscher is the director of the Jesus Culture movement. Banning came up with the name while walking through a mall in the late 1990s. He saw a sign for the brand Counterculture and thought he wanted to lead a new culture of people, a new culture of Jesus freaks. A few of the many parts of the Jesus Culture movement include the band, the record label, and the local church. If you had all of this to take care of without any help, this would be a terribly difficult task. So, to combat this problem, Banning hired a large staff. He hired 2 worship leaders to take care of the band, he hired producers to handle the record label, and he has hired a person to be the local church director. Banning is able to dish out the power amongst his team so that he can concentrate on the Jesus Culture mission. Their mission statement reads, "To awaken hearts to worship and demonstrate the love and power of God wherever we go." Because he gives out all the responsibilities and does not overload himself, this shows how he is a great example of enable others to act. But to be a great leader, you can't just be one leadership style. Banning is also a prime example of Inspire a Shared Vision. This video shows why.
Can I just tell you right now, God doesn't barter. This is what I'm concerned about with the generation. We come to God and say, God, He comes and says, I want your entire life, my entire life. That's a little more than I wanted to pay. Okay, God, what do you think about this? Let me keep my music and let me keep my friends and let me keep my girlfriend because she's hot and I'm gonna marry her. And what do you think about that? And we think God's like, oh man, I'd like some more. Okay, listen, why don't you keep your music and you can keep your girlfriend and give me your friends. Oh, and then, what about if we meet halfway? Listen, God doesn't barter. God shows up and says, hello, I'd like your entire life. All of it. And he says, if you want to follow me, you got to count the cost. And you know what the cost is? You have to forsake everything. I'm not making this up. He said it. You have to forsake everything. You have to be willing to lay it all down. You can't come to God and say, God, here's my life. I give it to you. And he comes and says, well, I'd like your music. Music? God, you don't understand. Beyonce got me through a hard time. God, Eminem, we're close, man. He is my homeboy. You really can't seriously be asking for that. We said, God, here's my entire life. He says, then I'd like your boyfriend. My boyfriend. You know when I said yes to Jesus at 17? He asked me for everything. I remember going to my house and feeling the Lord asking me for my music. And I went and I got all my cassette tapes and I put them in my box. I remember this day. I seriously remember this. And I put in Boys to Men. I put in Pearl Jam. I put in Color Me Bad. Belle Biv DeVoe. Guns N' Roses. I put in the greatest rapper of all time, Vanilla Ice. He even asked me for Milli Vanilli. And I remember this. I took my box and I walked outside and I lifted up the trash can and I threw it in. He said, I'm not preaching against music tonight. I'm not telling you should go home and get rid of all your music. What I'm saying is you got to give your entire life. And when he comes, he's not bartering with you.
The entire Jesus culture movement is a postmodern concept. It focuses on personal engagement with Jesus Christ. It's not all about what the scripture says. It's all about how you encounter Jesus. When I first found out that my leadership style was enable others to act, I did not want to talk about it. I was taken back by it. I was dumbfounded. This is not who I saw myself as. This is not who I wanted to be labeled as. I thought that when you gave up the power, you seemed weak to those that you were leading, when in fact it is the exact opposite. When I would find myself in a leadership position, I would become so overwhelmed by everything that was happening that I would get burnt out. I would turn to a good friend, pass off the task, and keep moving. I never liked doing this because I thought I was always showing my weaknesses. I had subconsciously been enabling others to act all along. Now that I understand the benefits of enabling others to act, I can better live it out in my everyday life. Leadership is like a journey. If you don't know where you're going, you're bound to get there. With enable others to act, the means are so much more important than the end. Enabling others to act is not just a once and done thing. It has no final destination. It is something that we must do throughout our entire life to become successful leaders. The journey we take through leadership has no end. We are constantly evolving and changing to be able to lead others more effectively. The twists and turns that we encounter on the journey shape who we are as leaders.